Got that there. Got that there. Cool. All right, we're good to go. All right, man. So first, tell me, how do you feel? Like, how? Tell me how it feels.
I feel good. I mean, I, I like I mean, the process was pretty easy, easier than I thought. That's for sure. But
Hmm.
I don't think I'm. I still have to sell it. I'm not. I don't have that completed feeling yet. Like
Sure, sure.
still have to. I still got a little bit more process on this.
Let me. You know what's funny is I could work with someone and they close their 10th deal,
Hmm.
and if they could have made like 100, let's just say $100,000. Even if they didn't make their $500,000, they'd still feel that way. They'd be like, oh, but I still didn't reach my goal yet. I don't feel that great. But you know what? Celebrate the small stuff. That's really important because, man, this was your first time, right?
Right.
This is your first deal, Alex, right?
Yeah.
Tell me again your experience of what you had up until this point, like seminars, like tell me your experience in real estate. Were you looking at properties a lot? Like
Yeah.
actually how long were you like learning about real estate before you did this deal? So how long?
Probably. I don't. Probably close to 10 years.
Wow.
5 to 10 years at least, but closer to 10 because
Wow.
yeah, because I remember I would go to seminars. I bought different programs, but it seemed like everyone tries to steer you a different path to what I think they're comfortable with. Not everyone, but a lot of people.
I
And
see.
I remember I wanted to focus on wholesaling, and he kind of drifted me off somewhere else, and then I'm learning about something else. So all the process
Oh wow.
kind of like I would learn about lease options, or I would learn about notes, and I would learn about non-performing notes, performing notes, and
More information rather than
yeah,
just doing.
right.
Well, let me ask you this. Based on that guy that you worked with and working with me, what would you say is the biggest difference? Like working with him and then working with me. What was the biggest difference?
Um, well, this for sure is like you're more hands-on with me. Like, I feel more with him. It was just I don't know. It was just, but I don't know. It was more just make the call. He wasn't really communicating with me every step of the way. You're more,
Right, right.
communicating.
Throughout the
And
whole
it just,
process, yeah.
it kind of, when he detoured me from what I wanted to do, it takes away that drive from me, and I
Yeah,
didn't have it as much as focusing on wholesaling or,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's a great point. Now, excuse me, remind me, because I remember you had two deals under contract, but walk me through the process again of like how you started with bidding on HUD and then what happened after that up until this point.
yeah, I was bidding on HUD and, well, because I told you I was researching Larry's I have Larry's
Mhm.
programs, and
Yeah.
to me, it seemed like HUD was like a simple way to start, and that's what I did. I started putting offers. I found a realtor. I was honest with him. He seemed,
Hmm.
you know, investor friendly. He was open,
Awesome.
so
Yeah.
he was putting offers for me throughout Alabama, so the whole state
Okay.
of Alabama, instead of keeping my market narrow, focus on a
Hmm.
specific market. And that's what kind of threw me off once we got those ones
Yeah.
once I got them under contract.
So you had those two under contract, and they were both like two different areas, right?
Right. They were far apart, real
Yeah.
far apart.
Right.
It's pretty, it was a learning experience because I was on the phone a lot, networking with people and met a lot of nice people. But it was an experience. But yeah, it was hard to sell because I didn't have cash buyers in those areas.
Right. Yeah. What now? Tell me about the part where. How did you feel? Because I know this was your first properties. How did you feel when you got like those two under the bid? You won the bids. You got the two under contract.
Yeah, he texted me and I was like, and it was out of the blue because HUD, I didn't put, he wasn't submitting any offers for me for like at least 3 weeks probably. And then all of a sudden they accepted an old offer that I had offered. And
Wow.
then the next time, they're both old offers.
They're
And
both old. Wow. Yeah.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, so when they text me, I was like, and it was on Christmas break, so he was in Florida, I think, on vacation
Okay.
with his family, and he's texting
Yeah.
me, and he's like, "Hey, HUD accepted your offer. Is your offer still standing?" I was driving. I was like, I was pretty with my numbers. I was pretty. I mean, I offered low, so I was
Yeah.
pretty confident. I just said, "Yeah, let me what was the offer? Because I'm driving right now." And he's like, I have to get back to you on that because I'm here." But I went and
Hmm.
looked it up, and I was like excited and nervous
Yeah.
because to tell him yes, because if
Yeah.
I say yes, I want to do it.
Right. Exactly.
So
That's awesome.
it was
So
pretty
after you got
exciting.
them, and you got two accepted. So after you got two accepted, what steps did you take, to, get this property sold? Like what were your first, steps of action to move the
For
property?
the first steps, you need a deposit. So anything under 50,000 is $500.
Hmm.
So I have a line of credit at my bank, and I went and
Hmm.
did a line of credit, and
Yep.
it was pretty easy. Just get a cashier's check. Has to be a cashier's check. Get a
Yep.
cashier's check and overnight it to the title company he told me to, and
Yep.
and then proof of funds. I had Cameron Dunlap system, so I could print out
Awesome.
proof of funds, and they accepted
Right.
that. So that was
Awesome.
great, you
Yep.
know. And then the ball
Awesome.
starts rolling from there. Started rolling.
That's great. That's great. Now, you mentioned a good point, which I always think a lot of people miss out on this point, and I call them customers, right? When you're starting a business, we obviously need customers. And in wholesaling, the cash buyers are the customers.
Right.
So, how did it feel like having a property, the inventory? It's like you have the product, but now there's no customers. You're like, okay, how am I going to get this thing,
Yeah.
out there? How does that feel? Like, what
It's
was it like?
kind of it's nervous. It's nerve wracking because with HUD you have a time frame.
Right. Right.
If it was someone else's property and I negotiated a contract with them, I could negotiate the terms. But with HUD you got like 30 days. So
Yeah.
um,
Exactly.
it's nerve wracking because
Yeah.
I didn't have the buyers.
Right. Exactly. And that excuse me, that's something to actually focus on moving forward is,
Oh yeah.
building that cash buyer list. That's something that always, when you're in wholesaling, you're always needing to be building that list. Just like if you're raising private money, let's say
Mhm.
you're raising private money, which we're going to get to that point, right? Because you did like two things in one in one
Yeah.
deal, which sometimes feels very daunting. And to you, it may, like you said, oh well, it's not my ultimate goal, but for some
Yeah.
people, they have a hard time raising private money. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, one of the things that holds a lot of people back or they don't understand about wholesaling is you need that cash buyer list. Just like if you're raising private money, you always need to be raising private money for the next deal. Just like if you're doing owner financing, you always need to have that next homeowner ready for that next property that you're going to pick up. So there's always finding that customer. And I can tell based on our conversations that you already can tell, like, man, I need to build my cash buyer list,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and that really helps. So you got a slamming deal, right? You got a great deal, deeply discounted. Um, and then you got into, okay, you need to take action on this deal. It's a good market, good property, decent. The realtors and the agents have told you, hey, we can't even hold inventory. So you pulled the trigger, but remind me how you pulled the trigger. How did you ended up raising private money? So how did that work for
It worked. It worked out all right. I mean, my my parents know I was always studying this. Well, not so much my dad, but my mom.
you?
She always knew I was studying real estate, and I would always talk about it. And it seems like, I mean, that's my ultimate goal, to be a real estate investor. And
Right.
I just presented the offer to them, the numbers, and I told them, look, this is a great offer. I mean, it's a good,
Good deal.
I got a good deal, and my
Yeah.
my mom's like, well, I'll do it. Just tell your dad. And then I got on a good day. And
Yeah, exactly. You got them on a good day. But no, that's an important part. Like,
Mhm.
you know how many, I can't tell you, Alex, how many times people are afraid of talking to a family member, a friend,
Mhm.
and they're just like, oh no, I can't tell them I'm doing this. And I know your mom knew, but even just raising money, I was talking to a student the other day, and get this, they raised the money from their gardener. The gardener, like
Oh,
they come and do the landscaping. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. They come like, I think every other week, and it's a woman. She comes and does like, I don't know. She does like fancy gardening.
oh,
So her and my student, she's a woman as well, and they talk. That she's outside in the front lawn, and the one's trimming the bushes, and they talking. And she said, "Well, what are you up to?" And she said, "Actually, she followed what I told her. I said, you never know where the money's going to come from."
yeah.
And I said, make sure that when someone says, how was your day? What's going on with you? To tell them about your opportunity. So that's when you bring up your opportunity. It's not to talk about the weather, right? Why?
Yeah.
Right? So she actually told her about her deal to the gardener. And you know what? The woman said, I have a bunch of money in my retirement account, my IRA. The market is going up and down, 1,500 points there, 500 points over there, right? It's just going up and down. She says, I would love to invest with you. My student was shocked. She's like, what? She called me right away. She's like, Nathan, you're never going to believe where I just raised the money from. My front lawn. I was like, what are you talking about? And immediately I thought it was like the postman or something. She's like, no, my gardener. I have a professional gardener. She comes and does my bushes and stuff and the trimmings and everything. And I was like, wow. I said, great. You see how that happened. So listen, and I know some people can hear your story and they can be like, oh yeah, you just asked your mom or your dad. But no, no, no. A lot of people can't do that. Like the whole point is it doesn't matter. It could be your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle. It's just a point of asking. It's just a point of presenting an opportunity and saying, hey, this is something that is a secure, better than the real estate market. It's better than sitting in a checking account
Right.
and just not gaining any interest. So invest in real estate, which is secured by the property, backed by insurance. Why not?
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a point of that because a lot of people struggle with that. And so what happened?
No. Well, my dad, he's when he says yes, if he thinks about it too long, he'll talk himself out of it. And I had a feeling
Okay.
that happened. So it was good. I asked him. I think it was Sunday, and then Monday, my mom and I went to the bank and did it. So it kind of didn't give him in the morning. Sunday, he was thinking like, I don't know what if, he was asking me questions, and I was like, no, it's fine. Your money is secured by the property. It's not like you don't see. It's not like going to the casino, because he likes
Right, right.
he likes to
Oh, right.
put his money.
Exactly. Good illustration though. That was good to do that. Yeah.
So and he's like, and I go, and he's asking me questions about like the plumbing, the pipes. I go, look, Dad, we're not keeping this property. We're gonna flip it. We're gonna sell it. Don't worry about keeping it long term right now. We're gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna make money.
Right.
You know. So
Right.
he's like, okay, but you better not mess up. I was like,
Right. The pressure. That's something you typically won't hear. That's something you typically won't hear from another private money lender. But hey, it's brings it close to home.
mm-hmm.
That's funny. So I want you to share a little bit about the numbers because it's an important to reiterate that. So you got the property, how much you got it for, and then what you got at closing, because that's an important part where a lot of people don't understand. Like, hey, you can get cash back at closing. So explain that. Explain what happened there.
So the property the property was listed, I believe, for 74 on HUD. It was listed for 74,500 maybe, and I offered 34,750, and somewhere along the line it was reduced on HUD to 67,700, and then they accepted my offer at later on they accepted my offer at 34,750. So I got it for 34,750, and then the private money I got, because I was just thinking to ask 37 to cover closing costs, but like you said, we got to pay ourselves also. So
Right.
so I asked 50,000, and so we deposited 50,000, and my mom did, and then I got the difference sent to my checking account.
Right.
It was like
Exactly.
438, something like that. 14.
Right. Awesome. That's an important part. A lot of people I think when we first talked about that deal, you were thinking, okay, I need to borrow 37,400, right? Or
Yeah,
37,500. And that was it. It was like, wait, well, where's your money, right? And that's so important in any deal. We always have to build in our numbers. Now, that's just from the front end, right? That's just from the front end. When you turn around and sell this deal, you're going to make even more money, which is even more exciting.
right.
Now, how much that's going to be, we'll figure that out. Maybe we'll do another video, but we'll get to that point when we turn around and sell it. But it's important to know that, and what you did is you were able to get cash back at closing, and a lot of people don't usually tend to think that way, And if you keep that in mind for all your deals moving forward, and it may not be every deal that has that opportunity. But if you can put yourself in a position that has that, it's good, because it's like, you don't get taxed on borrowed money, which is an advantage in real estate investing and borrowed funds. But it gives you that advantage to know that, hey, I'm getting paid for the work I put into the deal, and then I'm going to get paid for more execution on the back end. Did it feel like, for you, kind of like, man, I'm getting this much money for the work you put into it? Did it feel like that? Because I know that comes up sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Like, the money's just sitting in my account because I'm kind of scared to use it right now. Like, because I'm not sure
That's fine.
exit strategy on how I'm gonna
Sure.
go about it. But yeah. Well, I from all the research, I kind of know, like, there's a lot of money to be made in real estate investing.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew.
Absolutely.
And I knew, and even like I knew to pay myself, like, because even you asked me, do you know why I'm telling you to borrow more? And I go, yeah. Well, I said to pay myself, and you're like, exactly. And I knew it. It's just I didn't know about asking my parents for that much money. That's why.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's you said a great point, and that's a perfect example, because today it's mom and dad, tomorrow it's a private money lender.
Right.
But it's the same thing. If the numbers work for the deal, then you go for it, right? It all comes down to, a good friend of mine from Canada. He always made this point. He said, it's not that you lack money, it's that you lack strategy. And I was like, wow, that's a powerful statement. And another thing he told me, he said, the most important thing is, if you raise your financial confidence, you will earn more money. So the biggest thing I try to deliver to people, and he told me that like 10 years, maybe 8, 10 years ago. And the biggest thing is if we raise our own value, which we do, like no one else, Alex, can tell you, how much you're worth. Only you can. You can say, I'm worth this much, I'm worth this little. Only you can do that. Or if we get a job, they dictate what we're worth.
Right.
But the beautiful part about real estate is we can state what we're worth. And that's what I really focus on with people, because when they're, especially with whether it's wholesaling, like usually people coming into real estate with wholesaling, they can actually be negotiated down by a cash buyer. Like, you may have, let's say, a $15,000 profit built into the deal, and all of a sudden the cash buyer wants to negotiate your profit, wants to whittle that down to like 3,000. And unfortunately, like, I had a student out in Maryland one time, and she was going to make about $12,000, and she didn't tell me the conversation. She didn't tell me until it happened, but the cash buyer got it all the way down to $3,000. And she was excited about the $3,000, but she got negotiated.
Yeah.
So.
And like on the other deal, I mean, it was a good deal too, but the property negotiated me. It seemed like because the property, um, it had more problems than I thought. You know, so
Yeah.
I also would have went along with that, try to go along with that one too, but it just seemed too much. It had some water damage and stuff like that, so it seemed too much. I didn't want to hassle with any mold issues or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. You know, sometimes you gotta, like, they call that risk tolerance. Like, it's, you gotta know, well, what's too risky for me and what's not too risky. Some people, they love the D properties, the ones that got boarded up windows, and you know, they just got a bunch of problems and it needs to be rehabbed and gutted. Some people love that. They just, you know, they love that. Or burned out properties, mold properties. Some people love that stuff. But that's because maybe they have a higher risk tolerance and they run their numbers in a different way. But it's just, you got to go with what you feel good about in every investment. That's like super important.
Yeah,
and but
finding cash buyers for that property or trying to find them. Yeah, most of them were telling me, "Oh, I have to get it at this price because of the repairs." And
right, yeah, and that's what will happen. You'll get feedback from the properties. That's good stuff. And you know, you're a smart guy, man. One thing I loved about these two deals, you're smart and you take action. Like, I was even telling my wife, I was like, you know, the coolest thing with you, Alex, is that you literally said, okay, here's my question. Okay, you went out and did it. That's huge. Like, I can't tell you sometimes